Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie back at you with another product review. And what I'm looking at today is Maker's Mark Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It is 90 proof or 45% alcohol by volume. It is aged for at least 4 years, as there is no age statement on the bottle. Now, Maker's Mark or the origin began when T.W. Samuels purchased the Burke's Distillery in Loretto, Kentucky. And production began in 1954, and the first run was bottled in 1958. So that's 4 years after the initial production, so 4-year aged product. And it has the distinctive dipped red wax seal, the only whiskey to do this, which is kind of a trademark of theirs. Very, very cool. With all of the Maker's Mark bottles. And Maker's Mark is also one of the only, if not the only, American whiskeys to spell whiskey without the E, which is very interesting. And I'm not really sure why they do it. They just always have, and I guess they always will. It's another thing that distinguishes them from other American-made whiskeys, particularly bourbon. So I opened this up the other night. I had a little bit out of it, but this is really my first time with this bourbon. As you can see, I've only had a very little bit out of the bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a pour. And let's see what we've got here with the Maker's Mark. Very, very famous brand. It is a Beam Suntory product. And I think it usually runs around $30 a bottle. I got mine for 22 bucks. It was on sale, and I couldn't resist. So anyway, the appearance is, I guess you could say, copper. You got some nice alcohol legs going down the glass. On the nose, you're getting some caramel, some light vanilla. You're getting that charred oak that you get with good bourbon. Kind of stings the nostrils a little bit, from the alcohol. 45% is, higher than your typical 40%. Smells really, really good. Yeah, it smells like a good bourbon. Maybe a slight earthy note. It smells really good. The caramel, light vanilla, and charred oak are the main components on the aroma. So let's get into this. Cheers. Mm, really good. Relatively smooth for the high alcohol, or slightly elevated alcohol from your standard 80 proof bourbon. It goes down just as smooth as an 80 proof. You're definitely picking up on that sweetness up front, caramel, maybe some slight toffee notes as well on the palate. You're definitely getting a little bit of that vanilla as well. And of course, that nice charred oak complexity that you get with good bourbon. It's all there. It sticks around for a few seconds after you swallow it down with that nice charred oak presence, but it drops off shortly thereafter. So it's not a, it's kind of a, I guess you could say it's a medium lingering finish, but it doesn't stick around for too long. And it is very inviting. It's very warming going down, but in a very enjoyable way. It's not, you're not tasting the alcohol. You get the alcohol burn, but there's so much complexity. There's so much flavor imparted from the charred oak. And just obviously the 4 years of aging just does wonders for this product. Um, it is bold, but it's not overly bold. It's not gonna scare people away from it. It's very inviting. It really is. It's just sweet, smooth, mellow, a little bit uh, bold at the same time, but not too much so. I mean, you're definitely getting that charred oak, which some people, too much charred oak is a bad thing for a lot of people. I personally like the charred oak that you get with good whiskey like this, and it's definitely there, but it's well balanced. You wouldn't even guess that this is a little bit higher ABV than your traditional or your standard 80 proof. Just a really, really enjoyable whiskey. Um, it's got a nice, rich history. It's really an iconic brand, and if you've never had it before, I would highly recommend that you go out and try it, especially if you like bourbon. I mean, if you like bourbon whiskey, this is going to be right up your alley. It's definitely, um, better than your budget brands. Um, it's up there with some of the more expensive bourbon that I've had. Um, Granted, it's not as good as Blanton's. The Stag Junior that I had was excellent. Four Roses, um, small batch was better than this, but those are few and far between, and you're going to pay a lot more money for those type of products. This is more along the lines of Old Granddad Bonded. Um, what's another 20 to $30 range? Your Jim Beam Distiller's Cut. I mean, this is up there with those. It's just as good. It's different. So I mean, if you're like me and you like to try a lot of these different bourbon whiskeys, this would be a great one to try and put up against some of the other, um, you know, brands, iconic brands, and see what you think. But I really, really love this so far. As I get down the bottle, let it, open up a little bit more, I think the flavors will continue to develop and improve. It's definitely a winner, and I won't give a numerical rating because I don't feel comfortable doing that with whiskey, but it is excellent. So I'm just going to say that it's an A product, and it's reasonably priced for the quality that you're getting. So I would highly recommend it, and um, and that'll do it for this review of Maker's Mark. Go out and try it. You will not be disappointed. So that'll do it for this review, guys. Until next time, cheers, everybody.